and programs. And it means being prepared to share power and responsibility with generation that will live with the consequences of the decision that we make today. That's why I'm happy that under the the constitutional review, they are now moving the right to contest for presidency from 45 to 35. I'm even proposing 30 or 28. Young people have the ideas. They can do it. So let's give them the opportunity. When we talk about adolescent responsive cities, we must also broaden our understanding of health. A healthy city is not simply a city with hospitals and clinics. Healthy cities begins long before an adolescent enters a hospital. Health is shaped by the environment in which young people live, learn, travel, play, and interact. The safety of our roads and neighborhood, access to clean water and sanitation, quality housing, transportation, recreational spaces, education, environmental conditions, access to reliable information all influence adolescent health and well-being. Ladies and gentlemen, when an adolescent cannot safely walk to school, that is a health issue. When a young person has nowhere safe to play, exercise, or socialize, that is a healthy issue. When flooding repeatedly disrupts education and damages homes and community infrastructure, that is a health issue. When an adolescent with a disability cannot access a public facility because the environment was not designed inclusively, that is a health and equity issue. When young people face violence, discrimination, exclusion, and barriers to essential services, these cannot be treated as isolated social problems. They are deeply connected to the environment in which adolescent lives and grow. A truly healthy city must therefore promote physical, mental, and emotional well-being. It must be a city where adolescents can access appropriate services and reliable information. But the question is, do we give these young people the opportunity to this information? Sometimes you go to Ghana Health Service, give us information. They say, go and write letter before we give you the information. So if an adolescent walk to Health Directorate asking Ghana Health Service, we want to have information on mental health issue concerning young people in your municipality or your district, and you ask that adolescent to go back, write a letter, bring the letter, pass through all the so-called protocols before you give that information to that adolescent. Are we doing them good or non-fans also? And the same thing, our municipal assemblies, when you are looking for information, you go there. Okay, right. Coordinating director, I was saying answer. I was saying you say answer. So what we are saying is that we need to give the adolescent information. So we should create the necessary mechanism that will help them to access information without going through all the hustles that they have to go through. We can create an application through mobile phone. So if adolescent want to access any information from any assembly, you just go there, put something there, and then the assembly can respond within seconds. It must be a city where young people can move safely, participate in community life, access recreation, develop their talent, and pursue their aspiration. But health cannot be separated from inclusion. The future city must be a city for every adolescent. It must include the adolescent living in underserved community. It must include the girl who faces barriers because of her gender. It must include adolescents with disabilities. It must include young people from low-income households. It must include those whose voices are too often excluded from public decision making. Inclusion requires us to ask a difficult but necessary question. Who is being left behind? And what must we change to ensure that they are included? It means designing public spaces that are accessible. It means making services responsive to diverse needs. It means ensuring that information reaches those who need it most. And it means recognizing that every adolescent has dignity, potential, and legitimate stake in the future of our cities. The third pillar of our team is resilience. Ghana's cities are changing rapidly. Urbanization is creating opportunity, but it is also placing enormous pressure on infrastructure, housing, sanitation, transportation, and the environment. Climate change is making these pressures even more urgent. Flooding, extreme heat, environmental degradation, poor waste management, and other climate-related challenges can have profound consequences for young people, particularly those living in vulnerable communities. However, resilience is not simply about recovering after a crisis. Resilience is about preparing before the crisis. It is about building stronger communities, responsive institutions, informed citizens, and systems that anticipate, absorb, and adapt to change. And here again, adolescents have a critical role to play. Young people are not only vulnerable to climate change and urban challenges, they are also agents of resilience. They can lead environmental campaigns, they can promote responsible waste management, they can use technology to identify community problems, they can participate in disaster preparedness, they can develop innovative solutions, and they can influence positive behavior in schools and homes and communities. What they need is not merely our sympathy. They need our trust. They need our investment. And they need our partnership. Technology provides another extraordinary opportunity. Ghana's adolescents are growing up in a rapidly changing digital environment. Technology has transformed the way young people learn, communicate, organize, create, and participate in society. However, we must remember that a smart city is not simply a city with more technology. A smart city is a city that uses technology to make people's life better. We therefore need to ask whether adolescents can use digital tools to identify, report community challenges, access reliable information, engage local authorities, participate in civic processes, and develop solutions to urban problems. Ladies and gentlemen, we should not see young people merely as consumers of technology. We must create opportunities for them to become creators, innovators, and problem solvers. This is where partnership becomes essential. No single institution can build adolescent responsive city. Government cannot do it alone. Local authorities cannot do it alone. Civil society cannot do it alone. Development partners cannot do it alone. The private sector cannot do it alone. Academia cannot do it alone. And adults certainly cannot do it without adolescents. The lessons emerging from the Resilient City for Adolescents project provide us the foundation upon which we can build. Our task now is to move from projects to systems, from isolated interventions to institutional change, from promising practices to sustained national commitment to adolescent-responsive urban development. Our efforts are also aligned with Ghana's development priorities and international commitment, including the National Youth Policy, the National Urban Policy Framework, the National Climate Change Policy, the Sustainable Development Goal, and then African Union Agenda 2063 and the New Urban Agenda. These frameworks provide direction. However, policies alone do not transform cities. People do, institutions do, investment does, partnership do, and action does. That is why this conference must be more than a conversation. It must become a catalyst for action. When we leave this room, we should be asking ourselves, what will we do differently? Will local authorities establish a stronger mechanism for adolescent participation? We need to answer this question before we leave this room. Will urban planners systematically consider the needs and experience of adolescents? We must answer this question. Will development partners, World Bank, and other development partners invest in adolescent-led solutions? We must answer this question today. Will private sector support youth innovation? We must answer it. Will researchers continue to generate evidence that can guide policies and investment? We must answer it. Will civil society continue to amplify voices and hold institutions accountable? We must also answer this question. And most importantly, will adolescents themselves, they are here, will adolescents themselves have a sustained platform through which they can influence decisions? These are the questions that should define the legacy of this conference. Distinguished guests, our vision must be bold. Let us imagine a Ghana where every adolescent can safely walk to school, where every young person has access to clean, safe, and inclusive public spaces, where girls and boys can participate without fear, where adolescents with disability are not excluded by the physical environment, where young people can access appropriate health information and services, where technology is used to solve community problems, where young people participate meaningfully in climate action, and where local authorities routinely listen to adolescents and respond to their priorities. Let us build cities where adolescents can genuinely say, this city belongs to me too. That is why that is the city we must build. To our policymakers, local government authorities, I urge you to open the door of decision making, create meaningful spaces for adolescent participation, listen to their life experience, integrate their priorities into development plans and budgets. Let us measure the success of our cities not only by the kilometers of road constructed, buildings completed, or investment attracted, but also by whether our young people are healthier, safer, more included, and more hopeful about their future. To our development partners and private sector leaders, I urge you to invest in the systems and innovations that enable adolescents to become part of the solution. Support youth-led initiatives, support data and evidence, support technology innovation, support partnership that can survive beyond the lifespan of individual projects. To civil society organizations, researchers, and development practitioners, Let us continue to document what works, challenge exclusion, amplify adolescent voices, and ensure that participation becomes institutionalized rather than dependent on individual programs or personalities. And to our adolescent and young people, I want you to hear this clearly. Your voice matters. You are not too young to have ideas. You are not too young to participate. You are not too young to innovate. And you are not too young to help shape the future of our community. However, participation also comes with responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to welcome you once again as we open the floor for discussion concerning young people participation in decision making. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Raphael. Indeed, our voices matters. Adolescents, we don't lack ideas. Or honorable members, do you lack ideas? We don't lack ideas. We lack the resources and the platforms. Thank you. So at this juncture, we'll do self-introduction. Self-introduction. Please, can I get the other microphone? Please, you mention your name, your institution, or your office. Thank you.
All right, thank you. My name is Ayabila Edward, and I'm coming from Sunyani Global Media Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Chief Amengo. I work with the Ghana Center for Democratic Development. Thank you.
I am Simon Asori. I'm the Executive Director for Citizens Watch Ghana, one of the consortium partners of this project. Thank you.
My name is Lawrence Weber, Development Planning Officer for Old Tafu Municipal Assembly.
I am Amajan Kuma Esrifi. I'm coming from Ghana Health Service, Bono Region, Regional Health Directorate.
My name is Gideon Awua, Municipal Development Planning Officer, Breku East Municipal Assembly.
My name is Aida Harriet Esmeralda, Principal Development Planning Officer, Sunyani West Municipal.
My name is Cassandra Jesse, Development Planning Officer, Sunyani Municipal Assembly.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Princess Lovia Tete from Love Aid Foundation in the Volta region. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Edmond Ofosu-Yeboah, in charge of business development at the National Youth Authority. Thank you.
I'm Oseko Edmond, the Chief Clerk of the Sunyani Adolescents Parliament.
I'm Ishaq Umar Rahima, the Majority Leader of the Sunyani Adolescents Parliament.
Haruna Ewuntoma, MP for Abysin.
Arimbot Aisha, Majority Chief Whip.
I am Sarkodie Frimpong Daniel, the Speaker for the Sunyani Adolescents Parliament.
I am Tuniki Donko, Municipal Development Plan Officer, ASQA, Ashanti Region.
Hello, good morning. My name is Charles Pepra. I'm Associate Professor in Planning at the Department of Planning, KNUST, and I'm the head of department. I'm also the Vice Dean for Faculty of Built Environment, KNUST. Thank you.
My name is Isaac Aguma, Coordination Director, Sunyani Municipal Assembly.
Alhaji Ibrahim Abila is my name. Coordination Director, Sudan West. I'm Samuel Kofi Adabuzu, Municipal Planning Officer, Sudan Municipal Assembly.
I'm Johnny Japon, Deputy Speaker for New Durban South Youth Parliament.
I'm Iris Dalaba, Municipal Planning Officer, New Durban South.
I'm Akumaru Magini. I'm an architect with the Ministry of Works, Housing and Urban Resources.
Good morning. My name is Augustine Antakofi. I'm with Ecoris.
My name is Aaron Ado Irechi, Municipal Development Planning Officer, Ebuakwa South Municipal Assembly.
Good morning. My name is Professor Isaac Arthur, the Director for the Center for Urban Management Studies at the University of Ghana. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Brian Jansi. I'm with Note 8.
Hello, good morning. My name is Abakar Ahmed, Urban Specialist at the World Bank.
Okay, my name is Al Hassan Adama Senior. I work with Glomef Ghana in Sunyani.
I'm Lambo Lilab, Global Media Foundation.
I am Emmanuel Jason Jackson Sarkodie, and I work with Indigenous Women Empowerment Network, one of the consortium parties.
My name is Theophilus Abajamankwa. I work with Citizens Watch Ghana, one of the consortium partners.
Good morning. My name is Isaac Mensah. I'm a program officer with the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection.
Thank you very much. You are warmly welcome once again. Someone asked me this morning if being an adolescent MP means getting a driver. And I told the person no. I get a school bag and I get lifts from my mother at times. But aside all these, I get a microphone and I'll take it. Thank you. We'll move on to goodwill messages. And I'll call on Mr. Augustine Akrofi, the representative for HOTEL-ACCRA. Please give him a round of applause. A round of applause till he gets here. Honorable members, a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today. It's so surprising that every time I participate in these programs for the RCA project, they always want me to come and give a speech when I'm not aware of it. But I'll try as much as possible to welcome everybody to this event. It is with great pleasure to extend my warmest greetings and best wishes to the RCA project and its consortium partners and participants of the Future Cities for Adolescents conference. I mean, as cities continue to evolve, ensuring that adolescents have a voice in shaping the communities they live in is essential. I commend the RCA project for creating this important platform to amplify young people's ideas, aspirations, and leadership. May this conference inspire meaningful conversations, innovative solutions, and stronger commitments towards building cities that are inclusive, safe, resilient, and responsive to the needs of our adolescents. I wish you all a successful an impactful conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Augustine. So we are moving straight, no curve, no bend, to special remarks. And we'll take a special remarks from Sunyani East, the coordinating director for Sunyani East, Mr. Isaac Ankoma. Mr. Isaac Ankoma, please give him a round of applause. Please, you can do better. Thank you very much.
I've not delivered anything, but it's even applause. Okay, yes. All guests here. Yeah, we thank you for coming to participate in this particular program. I just also want to be in line with my colleague who just spoke. Unexpected remarks. They'll be able to just do something. All over the world, globally, the youth face a lot of challenges. And these challenges normally shape their future. There are many. We have physical body changes. We have academic pressure. We have peer pressure, identity crisis, and so many. We should address this in this world. It is the governments or the local authorities in this country that should do that. It is our responsibility. Because the youth are the future of this country. If we are not able to do that, it means that our future is doomed. But unfortunately, due to funds, we are not able to do all these things. So if a local organization said they wanted to address this for us, it means we are very happy. So we want to say that we are grateful to Glomef for initiating most of these programs, especially in the Bono region. So many programs are going on over there, of which we are very grateful. We have collaborated with them, and we intend to assist them to achieve this particular goal. Because if they are able to achieve this goal, it means that our region of municipality will also benefit greatly. In Sunyani, some of the things that I know that they are doing, one is this youth parliament. Myself and my boss, MC, were invited to witness some of this. We were surprised that young people were trained to act like parliamentarians, and it was wonderful. So we're very grateful here to them. And they also decided to take another initiative to rehabilitate some of the let me put it this way, problems in the society. We have an area called Ebola Down, drug addicts, heavily drug addict guys over there. So they brought a program that they wanted to assist the assembly so that they can rehabilitate them. Although it has not been fruitful, we are still working on it. So we are very grateful to them. And due to the advocacy, the way they put pressure on the local authorities, especially the assembly, it's not easy. And because of that, we have to get some funds and construct a classroom block at Yahima. It is through their initiative, of which we can see that we are very grateful. Some of the youth are also in our area serving on our committees of the assembly. They just want to witness so that they can also implicate it as well. Most of the things they do, we've categorized this and they are saying that we should incorporate it in our development plans and action plans, of which we are also grateful. So, in a nutshell, we wish to thank them for taking this initiative and also supporting assembly in all levels. As local government entity, we have assured them that any support at all they need, our doors are open. They can come. You know what I said there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Isaac Ankoma. The next special remarks is from Sunyani West, the coordinating director for Sunyani West, Mr. Alhaji Ibrahim Habila. Please give him a round of applause. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, and you really want to show, if you're happy and you know, clap your hands. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, Honorable Speaker. I don't know whether the Speaker is here. Yes. Okay. Honorable Members of Parliament, I think you are learning to assume a very huge responsibility. And the journey starts from here. So we need to accord you that respect. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, the last time in Sunyani, I gave a story. Anytime I meet the youth, I try to give a short story. What I want to say is that there is a saying that the greatest man on earth was once a child. And therefore, what we are seeing today, tomorrow, will become either the President of the Republic, UN Secretary Generals, and what have you. I have been, how do we call it? Smuggled to come and make a remark. And therefore, I will be a little snappy. What I want to say is that as youth, the first thing you need to know as members of Parliament is the fact that you must be the voice of your peers. Amongst the thousands, you have been selected to come and represent them. Therefore, don't come and argue. I am sorry to say, when I start speaking in the morning, I have that problem. I speak slowly, so pardon me. But at the end of the day, you ask me to keep quiet because I'll be making noise. Please, be a representative of the people. Speak for them. Don't just go to Parliament to go and make noise. Your noise, your voice should bring peace. Your voice should bring development. Your voice should bring impact in society. Therefore, you must be the voice of your peers. Don't just go there. You are not a representative to just make noise. Secondly, as adolescent parliament, you must leave a legacy. You have a tenure of office. You are not going to serve the people forever. The 1 year, the 2 years, the 3 years that you are going to serve the people, let it be impactful so that one day you will have something to show. Did you, as a member of parliament, lead your peers to carry out a cleanup exercise? Did you, as a member of parliament, lead your people to educate the youth to stop some of the heinous crimes, such as the use of red? I think red, they call it red, eh? Did you do that? At the end of the day, judged by the work that you do as a member of parliament. You must also live beyond today. When I went to Form 1 in 1988, there was nothing like ACCRA. We were using what we call joint school projects. I think my seniors here will bear with me. In mathematics, we have joint school project 1, 2, 3, up to 5. We have no textbook apart from that. I think I was in Form 4, second term, when an economic book came called Somatic Ideas. Today you have a lot of avenues to learn from, by your phones, by your computers, the use of the internet. By a click, you can have a lot of information. So please, let us use this opportunity to make our tomorrow very beautiful. Let us use the internet, let us use our computers to learn something in design, to learn something in farming, to learn something that tomorrow will lead to a very meaningful life. Let me tell you something small. There was this little young man, Kweko. I am sorry if anybody is called Kweko. I'm not in any way trying to use it, just an example. Every day, anytime he doesn't do his homework, you blame somebody. That somebody, either the sister stole the pen, somebody picked the pen, or on his way to the house, his book fell in water. So many stories. So one day, the grandfather called him and gave him 2 polythene bags, a black one and a white one. And then the advice was that anytime you blame somebody for leading you not to do something, put a stone in the black polythene. However, anytime you take a responsibility, put it in a white polythene. So a week passed. The grandfather called him, bring the 2 polythene bags. Interestingly, they saw him dragging a black polythene bag he himself could not lift. However, there were only 2 stones in the white polythene bag. Then the grandfather advice to him was, stop the blames. If you don't stop blaming others, you will always live tomorrow. So, my dear parliamentarians, let us take responsibility for our actions and inactions, so that our tomorrow will be better for us. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Okay. So we will invite Madam Dalaba Iris, the Planning Officer for New Job in South, to give us her special remarks. Please give her a round of applause.
Good morning. Distinguished guests, Glomef, Ghana, Honorable MCs, Coordinating Directors, Development Planners here, young people. It's a joy to be here to give you a short remark. I would like to share what young people are doing in New Job South. So I will not say what young people are supposed to do, but then what are they doing when you come to New Job South? So when you come to New Job South, created a number of platforms for the young people to engage. First of all, let me describe my young people in New Javansa. When you come to the New Javansa, I'll describe the youth. We call them young people or youth with 4 adjectives. They are active, they are vocal, they are civic-minded, and they really engage the Municipal Assembly. We've created platforms for them to engage us. They participated fully throughout our planning process, the medium-term development plan. So they really influenced decision-making. We started from the needs assessment, they were part of the process, through to the approval of the final plan. They participate in our town hall meetings. All our town hall meetings, they really represent in their numbers and they engage us. They participate in our planning and budgeting sessions, the sanitation and cleanup exercises, or they participate. Most especially, they are able to mobilize themselves, come out with programs, and then we assist them to implement. They have engaged Pragya riders on road safety on their own. They have conducted cleanup exercises. We went in for a young person who belongs to a CSO to be in the NPC, and we all know the NPC is the decision maker.
Continue. I would like all our dignitaries and guests to join us in front here so that we take a group photograph. Coordinators, please help. We are all coming here to take a group photograph. After that, snacks. Yeah. Please, can we all come here? Honorable members. Please, we are all moving to the restaurant for our snack break.
So please, you exit from the hall, then you turn to your right. That's where the restaurant is. So you exit, then you turn to your right. Thank you.
Yes, sorry. Yes, I can hear you. I believe he's mentioned to me that we'll be coming to see you. Okay. Sorry, the line keeps cutting. Could you say it again? No,
I think it's the remix, so you just have to remove it from full screen. We remix me full screen as render. Let's close it. No, not this one. Just from full screen, then open the PowerPoint.
Put on PowerPoint or?
Yeah, but I tried inserting it, but I wasn't recognizing the file, so I don't know. Using it.
It's not in WhatsApp.
But I've downloaded it. Downloads.
Honorable Isha, it's on page 20 statement.
Point of information. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to add up to what my colleague, Honorable Aisha, just said. It's true yesterday we visited the Sunyani Regional Library, and where we sat was the kids' corner. That's where the kids, let me say, when they visit the library, that's where they are. But the chairs there were not well furnished. That chairs are not suitable for kids. The tables are not suitable for kids. And even when we got there about 10 minutes, the lights went off. When we went there, it was only one fan that was working. The rest were all hanging. It was about 4 or 5 fans there. But only one was working, and the rest was also hanging. So we are asking if the fans are all working, why is it that immediately we go to the we switch all of them on? And why are the fans hanging? That place is a kids' corner. Anything can happen. Accidents happen unexpectedly. Anything can happen. And even their towels are not suitable for kids. It's slippery. They can fall. And even their door, it was glass, but it was broken. They can hit themselves because they are kids. Even we adults, we can hit ourselves, neither children. Thank you.
Honorable Haruna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Ishak said when they went there, the fans, only one fan was working. Mr. Speaker, what shows that only one fan was working? Did she request for that? She didn't request. So you can't just come and tell us that only one fan is working. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
On which point are you paying for? Please proceed.
We went there and sat there for about 5 minutes. We were late. So why didn't they on the fans before the lights went out? We sat there for about 5 minutes before the lights went out. So why didn't they on the fans?
Honorable Minister, on which point are you paying for?
Point of information. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to talk about the abandoned library project. If you go to the Sunyani Library, you will see at the back of the library building that is there is a very, very huge building project. That is the library project. Based on my information, revealed that the get fund is the project which started in 2003. Mr. Speaker, 2003. That is 21 years today. Even I am 14 years of age. That building is very, very older than me, right? Yes. Yet, it has not been completed. My question is, after 21 years of the project, when will they complete this project? My investigation also reveals that more than 3 contractors have been awarded the contract, but they all had run and abandoned this project based on financial issues. Mr. Speaker, both NDC and MPP government have come and gone, yet the project is still not completed. So, when will they complete it? If it is completed, that building can provide enough space for conference so that this parliamentary sitting
things. Why have they not completed this building? We need to know. Why do we like wasting money in Ghana here? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Before we proceed, I would like to introduce new dignitaries. Honorable HOTEL-ACCRA, Presiding Member, Brekum, Eastwood Municipal Assembly. And point of correction of Honorable Priest's statement. We are not dealing with politics. All the honorable members. We are not talking about specific parties. Both NDC, MPP, CPP, and all the other parties have passed. So we should not be specific, or we should not specify. Please do get it. Please proceed. Honorable Matilda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As Honorable Priscilla said, project over there is not going to be complete 6 months later or a year later, but they are still working on it. That's why I can tell my colleague, Honorable Priscilla.
Both point of correction and point of information. Please proceed.
But I want to add up to what my colleague Honorable Priscilla just said. You see, she said she's 14 years, and even the building is even very, very older than her. Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to add up that the 21 years is more enough to complete that building. I'm 21, that means I am the building, we are on the same age, or we are on the same age. I'm 21, the building is also 21. So we are equal. And like Honorable Matilda is saying, they are saying they don't know when it's going to be completed. They have to know because the building is getting old enough. And these are the evidence there. You see that uncompleted building since 2003. That was when I was born. The building is 21, I'm also 21. Look at the building. How do you very look at the building? Since Kofo's time, imagine. See the active one there. Okay, imagine all of it, you are going to the library. Can you occupy that place? It's too small for us. And the new building down, that uncompleted building, yesterday the librarian said it contains a lot. We have the theater in there, the kids corner, and a lot. So why is it that they don't want to complete that building for us? Rather than we using that one, that is not even conducive for us. So we want to tell our stakeholders to complete that building for us immediately. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member.
Thank you. We want to know that adolescents don't have interest in reading. Yesterday, great David, Honorable Teacher Kumara, we saw no participation and answer. It was only the librarians who were. So it seems the tsunami adolescents don't like reading. They don't have interest. And how can the government spend money on something we don't read? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We just started around Adolescents, and it was around many regions, which is Noah, Accra, Edgerman, all the other regions has been completed. So that means just only the Tsunami one. So why is it that only Tsunami, we don't have any regional library, and the other one there, we don't have the main facilities there. So we want them to complete it so that it will be suitable for everyone who is there. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I want to address Honorable Asanda. Just reading that he mentioned, the adolescents feel like reading, they have interest in it. That's why the government is spending money in that line. Thank you.
Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. I want to ask
there and read. There is no books, like enough books over there. See the building there. Even when we went there yesterday, the place that we went was Cape Town. But see the chairs that you and I were sitting on it. The tables are not conducive. Like they are not good at all. So how do you expect me to go there and read? How?
Yes, boss. Oh, you chop breakfast. Nah, no chop.
If the teachers there are not conducive for learning, that doesn't mean we shouldn't go there. If we are always punctual at that place, the GLA or the Ghana Library Authority will know that we are serious in the library, so they will provide us with good things. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Where my investigation, there are a lot of schools, like private schools, going there to learn. A lot of schools send their children or their kids there to learn. So if she tell me that the place is not enough, distance, fences, and websites, she can't tell me that because a lot of people go there to learn. I mean, children go there to learn. It's not only that, but you understand.
Honorable colleague Elena is done. I would like for us to move to the importance of library. Honorable, do you have anything to say?
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, before we continue to the importance of the library, I would like to address on the issue of the adolescents. Okay, so Mr. Speaker, we all acknowledge that the library needs help, but let's be honest here. How many of us here visit the library to stay? Mr. Speaker, my colleagues from the other side of the house keep saying that they visited the library, but as a matter of fact, we were there also. Mr. Speaker, upon getting there, we realized that not a single person was there apart from the staff members. Mr. Speaker, so how then do we expect the government to invest in something when our attitude shows that we don't need it? Investing in that will be a waste of money, whilst there are much more pressing issues that need investment. Mr. Speaker, our attitude shows that we don't need it. So the government won't see the need to invest in it. The Ghana Library authorities won't see the need to solicit for funds from the government. Mr. Speaker, I would like my colleagues on the other side to stop blaming the government and blame ourselves, because after all, we are also stakeholders, aren't we? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Leslie.
They don't even know that there is a library in Sunyani and it's a regional library there.
That's what I'm saying. They'll always go there to borrow books without returning them. They'll always tell us that they go there to borrow books to the house. We don't know, you and I weren't there. Whether they send them to the house or not, we don't know. Mr. Speaker, upon all this, the government must provide thousands of books to the library. Mr. Speaker, if this continues like this, I think the government will be fed up. Mr. Speaker, we shouldn't forget that the government uses money to provide the textbook to the library. Mr. Speaker, I know that the government uses our tax to provide the textbook, but it doesn't mean we should be misusing it. Mr. Speaker, there is a saying. You say, Obama Munafwa. Yeah, Papa, but The board of happened that you. What is my also born at? Provide the baby sitting on it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Haruna was stating something that the adolescents don't visit the libraries and the government will spend money, waste money, and stop the libraries with books. And we were stating stakeholders. Teachers are also stakeholders. And you and I, we are adolescents, we have ambitions. We have future thoughts that will be teachers, will be like this, will be this. So, as an ambitious adolescent, you have something behind your brains that in future I will be this. So you won't go to the library, you won't refuse to go to the library. And I mentioned teachers as stakeholders. And you're saying the motion is stakeholders have failed. The adolescents should be made to understand the importance of going to the library very well, so that they will engage themselves. And we are basing the libraries to be only reading. Libraries are not only meant for reading. You can add visual things to it too. I remember when I was in JHS, I had a literature teacher. We learned Oliver Twist, if everyone remembers. The book was read to everyone. We understood it well, but we weren't having the clear issue. Our teacher, being so thoughtful enough, brought the teacher's TV to our room, played Oliver Twist video in our class. Honorable Haruna, you stated that the books were thousands and they were used, the computers were not good. That's a clear statement that the GM, the Ghana Library Authority, are failing to be stakeholders. They're not sustaining our libraries for us. So what you just said is a clear vision that the stakeholders are failing to sustain our libraries. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The second one. Yes, go back. You go straight to the presentation. Yes. Yes. Continue the video. Yeah, continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Jessica, move from now. Move from now. MC, can you hold them?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is the time that we were in there. So how could you expect a child to be when a person is in school? How? Honorable Harry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, is it just what out in the house? No, they are not in school. It's a lie. It's a lie.
Mr. Speaker, point of correction, Honorable Harry. Mr. Speaker, sorry. This is just school and the house. For about 3 months, they are not in school. They are supposed to go there and learn. They are not in school. So where are they? This is the question. Where are they? It will be spoiled. It's a machine. If a machine is there for a long time, you don't own it or use it. It will get spoiled. Thank you. Honorable Ibrahim.
Please, Honorable Aruna, did you really go inside the line? Mr. Fonsi, hope you entered. Oh no, you didn't enter. How did you enter? Didn't you see others sitting there? There were plenty of people inside there, but you went and sat at the place where kids do learn. No kids were there. No kid will leave school and come and sit inside the library learning. It's impossible. See, the best thing is that kids are in the school, but weekends we visit there and learn. Me, I went there 3 times looking for a certain book, and I didn't find the book because the books were new books and the books there were old books. So how can I get there? I went there today, I didn't find the book. Second day, I didn't find the book. Third day, the book wasn't found. Do you think I'll go there again to find something? No, I won't, because the place is not good enough to be.
Thank you very much, Honorable. And my information, the time which was given to you is up. So we are moving to the importance. Each members from both sides will give one importance for us to end this conflict. Honorable Machioli.
Here are my importance of library. 1. Lifelong and serving as a community. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable President.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Apart from the library, apart from the library being a place to read, it also offers knowledge and entertainment through books, videos, children's programming, and access to internet, tutoring services and materials for non-library, and also countless other resources. Libraries also knowledge and cultural heritage in society. So knowledge, the library helps us to know our culture. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorables. I would like for us to move to the solutions as we have all proposed and seen the causes of the library not being conducive enough for we the adolescents and the kids. So from both sides, I will receive 2 solutions each. Honorable Ishaq.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Per our investigation, we were taught, or it was said to us that the libraries only get to have new books when the government releases funds to them. So we are pleading with the government to release funds to the librarians, to give it to their committees to provide us the necessary books. Two, we have parents. Parents should allow and encourage their children to visit the library because library is enhanced reading. It helps in pronunciation of words. It helps in long life learning. And it helps you to gain the habit of reading. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Proper details of the individual should be taken so as to track the book in the case of failure to be returned. These borrowed books. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Teachers also make a very crucial, make a very big point in our life. One is because me, I went to a school where when I will hear of library from my teachers, then we are reading a certificate, such like only the way. They won't even tell you about library. You will not know anything about library, not to talk of advancing library. And it's also not having a library to make you feel like you are going to think or you are having something to learn. So we are pleading the DES to also help by getting school books and so that you can visit them and learn.
The library. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Into the roles of stakeholders in ensuring that we have good library to promote learning. 2 points from each side. 5 minutes.
Right, Honorable Speaker, in concluding our debate from the majority side, we have stated the following. 1. Parents should encourage their wards by visiting the library. And also, the government should release funds for the librarians to provide us the necessary we need. The guest fund should also complete the building and also be linked with the civil and the other NGOs to help us have a conducive life in the state. Adolescents should turn or bring.
Please, we are all welcome back from our snack break. I hope we are all fine. Honorable members, are you fine? Yes. I thought you are not fine. Okay, I sign code this snack. Okay. So we are now moving on to the RCA journey from participation to influence. We'll take this presentation from Mr. Edward Ayabila. Please give him a round of applause.
All right, thank you very much. So at this point, we will take part of your time to introduce to you the Resilient City for Adolescent project, the foundation for which we have the Future Cities for Adolescent Conference today, as part of the lessons that we have learned throughout the implementation of this project in Sunyani and the Bono region. So we basically will look, the executive director had already thrown more light on this. So I will just be running through some of them for us to get the details of what the Resilient City is all about and what problem or what the social challenge we intended to solve at the start of this intervention. So before the intervention or before the Resilient City, there were already contextual issues about adolescent participation and the development issues around the global south, of which is part of or informed the development of this project. And data or key data or information underpinning this is an indication from the International Institute of Environment and Development that indicated that people will live in cities by 2030. 5 billion people will be living in our cities by 2030, up from 4.4 billion in 2020. And then also the World Bank also indicated 60% of the world's urban population will be under 18 by 2030, and 90% of them in the global south. And then we also have rising pressure, rapid population growth, outpacing cities' capacity to for young people, especially around their health and well-being. And then 15% of adolescents in low and middle income countries will live in or will live with mental health disorder according to the new urban agenda. And this is a wider challenge the Healthy Cities for Adolescents was created to address. So this is basically the problem that the Resilient City and at large the Healthy Cities program was initiated to address. What did we find in Sunyani at the start of this intervention? So the pattern held in Sunyani, the project started around 2023, and as part of starting this intervention, we conducted a baseline survey. And out of the findings, we realized that 86% of the city leaders did not prioritize adolescents within the city in terms of development, planning, and participation. 92% had never participated in any city decision-making process within the city. And then we have 12% had access to safe public space within the city, and then limited access to mentorship or livelihood opportunities for young people. Many young people partly are not in school, and especially those that have traveled from outside the city, that have come from other urban areas and settled in the city. There are other young people that have dropped out of school and they are home. What are the opportunities that were for them? So the goal was basically to close this gap at the start of the intervention. So the RCA intervention in brief. So between 2023 and 2026, we started this journey to under the Healthy City program within Sunyani City to look at the gaps that I've already mentioned. And at the end of the project at 2026, the project ended in March, and then we had a brief window of extension to look at it. We had already reached over 4,000 young people in 19 constituencies across the city. So the city was zoned into constituencies or communities, of which we selected or elected the adolescent MPs from. And then within the city, we also have 2 municipalities that are joined. That is the Sunyani West Municipal and then the Sunyani Municipal itself. So that is how we started the whole intervention. So in 2023, we listened, understand adolescents at the city system. We tried to engage young people from the start of the intervention as part of the planning phase. Under 2024, we created the platforms, relationships, and then capacities. In 2025, there were lessons for us to adapt, test what worked for us. And then in 2026, as part of the closure, we decided to institutionalize some of the tested solutions that is part of the adolescent parliament and the intermediary eco-city system and other mechanisms that worked well within the city and informed us of this decision as part of institutionalizing young people participation in decision-making system. Now, participation grew as we progressed from 2024, and then we looked at influence as part of the key lessons, and one of the key mechanisms that helps us as part of this adaptation has to do with a strong mail system that we institutionalize within the organization to learn and also to work with the donor to look at what is working best or what are the best mechanisms to help us institutionalize and ensure young people participation. So for 3 years on, adolescents in Sunyani have become more visible, more vocal, and as part of this, we realized that 64% participated in at least one local level decision-making activity, and 97% of them for the first time ever within the city. That is part of the transition that we've made within the project for the past 3 years. 8% said their views are always taken seriously by the assembly or communities. 29% were simply unsure as part of an evaluation that we did to understand what the dynamics were as part of the intervention. So why does this matter to us as part of stakeholders in this conference? One of the key lessons, or these are the 4 key lessons that we have learned from the project, and we are happy to share with you about this transition. And the 5 keywords include learning, participation, innovation, exchange, and acting. So as part of the 2023, we started with the planning process. We started expanding the scope for participation, and then we looked at innovation. What are the key innovations that is best suited when we talk about adolescent participation and system influence? There was need for innovation, and the Adolescent Parliament and the Intermediary City Ecosystem Platform emerged as one of the key innovations of this intervention that worked best. And we can tell you that for the Adolescent Parliament members, we will be showing you some of the videos of the transformations that have happened within the city. And then exchange. As part of the larger scope of the program, ECORIS UK also institutionalized the exchange learning program as part of enhancing some of the quality or learnings from other partners. And we've been engaging across the country. And for Global Media Foundation in Ghana, we're happy to travel to India as part of the WFI. They also implement one of the projects in India. And one of the key lessons that informed the RCA has to do with the public space assessment framework, which we have also adopted in Sunyani here, or in Ghana, that have been tested in India and works best when it comes to creating safe spaces for young people. And it's currently something that we are implementing in the Sunyani West Municipal Assembly as part of this extended phase of the intervention in institutionalizing how the local government system can integrate the best approaches when it comes to developing safe public spaces for young people. And then action. As part of the actions that we have undertaken is also transferring some of the tested mechanisms that works best, the Adolescent Parliament. And one thing we are doing currently is that we are transferring the Adolescent Parliament to be situated under the Sunyani Municipal Assembly and the National Youth Authority. We are currently registering the Adolescent Parliament under the National Youth Authority and integrating their participation into the Municipal Assembly subcommittees or development subcommittees that they have within the local government system. And so far for Sunyani West and Sunyani East, we have most of our young people joining most of their subcommittees in the sanitation, in gender, in security, and other platforms within the city. That joins as part of their quarterly meetings as well. And yes, one of the key actions also is the institutionalization of the Intermediary City Ecosystem Platform. This is one of the innovations that has happened within the city, and it is best fit when it comes to expanding the scope of ensuring adolescent participation or young people participation in our local government system. The Intermediary City Ecosystem Platform is basically a citywide stakeholder platform that we are institutionalizing that meets twice every year with adolescents leading in terms of generating evidence, communicating this evidence, and creating influence, creating the voice for them to be able to participate well in decision making within our local government system. As part of the innovations, we are developing policy documents and guidelines. So far, we have met the assembly, and the documents are ready for ratification in their next General Assembly meeting. The idea is that we want this ratified under the local government system through the General Assembly, and then it will be coordinated and managed by the planning unit of both the Sunyani West and Sunyani Municipal Assemblies. This is one of the best innovations that we are sharing as part of the tested approaches, especially when you talk about how young people can participate in decision making and create influence in our local government system. And it is amazing meeting the two municipal assemblies and going through the documents together, getting them validated. Currently, we are meeting all the assembly members across the city, ensuring that this is efficiently ratified under the General Assembly, and then it will be adopted as part of the policy mechanisms in formalizing young people participation in decision making. What does it take to move adolescent participation from consultation to sustained influence within the city systems? This is one of the key lessons that the project has learned, that participation is not enough. Coming to participate in intervention like this is not enough. The most workable and tested approaches has to do with creating the mechanisms and formalizing participation, ensuring that voices are clear and loud enough to create the necessary influence that the young people need, because they are the future of our cities. So adolescents experience the city as one system. One of the key lessons is that when we talk about young health and well-being, it is interconnected. It is not just about health of young people. And this is a representation from our lessons on how health and well-being is interconnected. It talks about safety and public spaces availability for their learning, safe spaces, and safe public spaces. And then we talk about governance and voice. Young people must have spaces within our governance system. And this is why institutionalizing the adolescent parliament and the intermediary ecosystem fits in best in terms of how our governance system. There are opportunities that are there or that exist within our local government system that can get this done. And that is why Sunyani West and Sunyani Municipal is leading in this. And then we talk about provision of health services. That is one of the key components. How do we reposition our health services to meet the needs of the young people? Digital access. Under the RCA project, under the Resilient City, we piloted the digital center that is currently being also worked with the assembly. Currently, we are progressing with it to institutionalize digital accessibility for young people within the city. And this is one of the key lessons that the project has learned, that when we talk about creating smart or digital city, as Director had already mentioned, it's not just about access to computers or technology. It is also about creating the needed spaces for them to learn. And our digital center is interconnected or integrated services that looks at health services in terms of reproductive services. We provide digital skills training for young people. Then we also have counseling services that are ongoing within the center, where young people access these information 24/7 without any challenge. And then we also look at skills and livelihoods. Under the project, we realized that one of the key challenge has to also do with skills and livelihood for these young people. And I bet that most of the young people that are out of school are facing key challenges, and the solution that works best for them is the provision of skills and livelihood. And under the project, we have engaged over 120 young people in different kinds of skills, talk about ICT skills, talk about hairdressing, tailoring services, beautification. And these are key components that were integrated into the project in their various forms to meet the needs of the young people in terms of equipping them with a skill that can earn them income and also enhance their health and well-being. And then inclusion. Inclusion is also one of the key things. And then we looked at how young people are included within the city system. Many of our young people are isolated and disadvantaged when it comes to access to services. And mostly our targeted or services are not mostly targeted in terms of their needs. Especially, for example, in our project, we realized that the Zongo community had a lot of young people, adolescents, that are out of school, that had teenage pregnancy. Most of the communities, for example, a lot of the young people are out of school, they come there with their children, they have no work, and for that matter, they become vulnerable to our young men as well. Some of them enter through these challenges, enter into addiction and smoking, and that is why we see the rising drug addiction across our young people. Most of the city zones are, many young people enter there and they get their lives destroyed as part of lack of some of these services. And this is one of the reasons why we are also calling for the local government system to also look at it. In as much as we are building the roads, building the hospitals, the human capital, especially for disadvantaged young people that are not in school, how do we institutionalize these skill services where we can rope in these young people to increase their skill, provide them the needed skills, and also opportunities to live healthy or to improve their health and well-being. Then we looked at the RCA system change, the pathway. How has it been? 1, voice. 2, evidence. 3, creating the opportunities. And then 4, looking at learning. Learning must be continuous. And then institution. Institution, because our institution is the foundation of our development. And that is why our director indicated initially that no one person or no one mechanism is workable. It must be institutionalized. All of us coming together is what we refer to as institution. There are, what has worked for us and the lessons we are learning is integrating some of these institutions, this mechanism into our institutions, formalizing them and creating the opportunities. And this is one of the best approach that, or for the lessons that have emerged as part of the most innovative ways of creating systems change within our cities, ensuring young people health and well-being are achieved. And when we talk about evidence, young people themselves leading the evidence, we are not to make the decisions for them. As part of the RC, we had the quarterly community forums where young people, the adolescent MPs themselves engage communities, generate their evidence, and then present it during the ISEP meetings. You know, they are leading the campaign themselves, telling the story of their lived experiences from their homes, their communities, and the society, so that leadership or institutions can listen to them and take the needed action. Participation needs an institutional home. Participation needs an institutional home. What we have learned, adolescent voice becomes more durable when connected to recognized governance structures. The success of the adolescent parliament is not because they were only debating and generating evidence, but how we connected them to the institutions, the local government system. And coordinating director, our director had indicated earlier how he was surprised listening to these young people. Because I remember when we went to India, as part of the engagement with their local government, one of the surprising statements was that they know that young people, their brain is not well developed. How are they able to debate or talk about issues that matters in development? After playing the adolescent parliament video with them, they were amazed that these young people are not really the young people that we talk about. And that is how we are generating the lessons. What changed in Sunyani? Adolescent Parliament plus ISEP plus the Assembly, subcommittees on sanitation, gender, health, and security, and then the National Youth Authority registration. That is what is changing. That we are connecting these systems to ensure sustainability and ensure that young people have space, permanent space, and they can champion their own development, and that they are not isolated or they are not just given a space to talk. So the assembly with the ISEP, the subcommittee, their participation in the subcommittees, And then the ISEC, the Intermediary City Ecosystem Platform, where they meet the citywide stakeholders, lead their own campaign, tell their own story, is one of the best approaches in terms of creating spaces and the needed mechanisms to sustain young people voices in our development paradigm. What remains? Assembly formalization of the Adolescent Parliament, the ISEP Governance Charter, a ratification, both in progress, and once it is done, the young people will now have a permanent space to work closely with our local government system. Adolescents should produce the evidence that shapes their city. They should produce their own evidence that shapes the kind of city that they want. And you can see in the picture that this was one of the ways that we led adolescents in terms of generating their own evidence from each of the communities within their city. We have visited almost each community within the Sunyani city in terms of what young people are looking for. And they are not doing this in isolation. They are doing this together with the assembly member, with the local opinion leaders, and then we have the media present. Sometimes we have the assembly reps. Sami is here. Our planning officers are here, who are always part of these processes. And they present these evidences during the ISEP meetings to tell their own lived experiences and champion their own needs. Adolescents were not just respondents, they were evidence producers, and that distinction is what made the assembly listen differently. In other local governments, you may think the assembly is not listening because of how things are done. If the assembly has to listen, there must be structured way of how young people should tell their own story. Because sometimes our perception about young people is not what it is until you pay attention to their own story. You pay attention to their own lived experiences. Skills training needs a pathway to economic opportunity. One of the key lessons is that we realize that a lot of civil society or NGOs are championing skills development. You train the people, and that is it. What is the lesson we've learned here? 78% report no income at start. Training alone was not enough to change that. Adolescents needed a route from certificate to paycheck, not just a new skill. They are not just looking for new skill. When you train them, you must provide the opportunities for them to look at it in terms of mentorship. And this is how the adolescent clinic works the best. That after training, continuous mentorship and guidance at a central place was one of the workable things that have emerged, the enterprise support, and then market opportunity. And one thing we are doing here is that as part of this lesson, we are establishing the Sunyani Business Support Center. That is an integrated business support center that incorporates different kinds of skill training, mentorship services, and then ICT skills for young people. And this is something that is currently ongoing within the city. Learning has value when it travels. Learning has a value when it travels. I remember when we went to India, I have talked about engagement with the WRI and our learning on the public space assessment framework. Coordinating director mentioned that initially we had wanted to do the recreational center as part of the recommendations from young people within the Sunyani, the Bola side, and that did not work. Immediately we had to look at another alternative, and that was the best lessons from the learning exchanges that we had through the project from our partners in India, and then the adoption of the public space assessment framework, which is currently ongoing. And as part of it, we are going to be launching our manifesto today, and then the city learning product, and then as part of this, connecting the conference to it, and generating this learning, especially from our partners from other local government ministries, on how we must institutionalize continuous learning. Don't always be comfortable at your own zone. There are things happening outside. There are things happening at other assemblies, other local government, other partners. Let's extend our hands and create the platforms to learn and adopt new approaches that will enhance our development process. From adolescent advocacy to new classroom block, So this is one of the stories that we will be showing you today. There have been a lot of changes within the city on how adolescents' own advocacy led to a new development where a particular school that was deteriorated was paid attention to by the assembly. And as we speak, that classroom block has been completed by the municipal assembly and will be launched soon. And the young people in that school are going to benefit because they had an MP who was given a space to advocate, who was given an opportunity to speak and tell her own story of how she completed that school. Now, change happened at different levels, at the individual level, at the community, and at the institutional level. And paying attention to all these areas is one of the best things or best lessons in terms of generating change on connecting the individual to the community and then the institutions as a whole, so that our development process can be inclusive and complete. What did not go to plan? Yes, we've done a lot of things. What did not work is what we want to look at. We assumed looking at a recreational center will create a safe space. We are at the start of the program thought that the recreational center we wanted to develop was the best, and then it will serve as one of the safest places for young people. And then what did we learn? Land and institutional ownership matter. We went through a lot of challenges in terms of the ownership of the land, the traditional authority, challenges with who owns the land and all kinds of things. And at the end of the day, that did not work for us. What did we do? Or what we adopted? The public space assessment framework plus adolescent-led urban evidence. Currently, we are working with our India partners in developing or adopting this process within the Sunyani West Municipal Assembly. We just had the first training last Monday. We are continuing with them. And Sunyani West will be telling a story of how young people can lead when it comes to creating safe urban spaces for their own health and well-being. We assume that skills will translate into livelihoods. At the initial start, we thought training young people in tailoring or in ICT would work or immediately create an income for them. Training alone is not as sufficient. This is one thing we learned, that training alone is not sufficient. What we adopted, the Integrated Business Support Center, this is how our learning is changing the story. The Business Support Center will be one of the biggest changes that will last forever. And one thing we are doing is that once the platform is launched, all the people that we have trained under the project, once they resume work, each of them is going to be enrolling 1 or 2 young people under their care to also transfer the training onto them. And we believe that in the next 5 years, many young people in Sunyani would have something to do through this center. This is one of the best things that we are also advocating, especially within our local government system. If each municipal assembly have a skills training center that continuously looks at enrolling young people, vulnerable people, providing them the skills at start from school, especially those that are dropped out, we would be reducing a lot of the unemployment issues, especially among our youth and our young people. We also assume that participation will create influence. What did we learn? Being present is not the same as being heard. Being present in every meeting is not the same as being heard. What we adopted, formalization and then the manifesto plus ISET. We have developed the manifesto. It will be one of the young people document that will inform the municipal assembly planning going forward. The ISET platform will be a platform that we would use as an accountability, information, and also improving capacities when it comes to collective decision of how our city should look like. This is how the Resilient City project, led by Global Media Foundation and its partners, is proven in Sunyani. And we believe that if we all hold our hands to go by this approach, we will tell a very beautiful story in the next 10 years, especially within our local government system. From project achievement to city ownership, I've talked about the I've talked about the ISEP formalization, the assessment, and then the business support center. So sustainability will be tested by what city institutions continue after the project funding ends. Once the project is ended, once these mechanisms are institutionalized, we will not be afraid if the project ends today, because we know that it is in the hands of an institution that also has responsibility over the health and well-being of our young people. This is how the business support center is looking at. We are looking what we will be offering under the service: enterprise and incubation coaching, skills and productivity support, digital and business center services, market linkages, and financial readiness for the young people. The place is almost 50% complete, and once it is done, we are launching it together with the municipal assemblies, and they would be part of the management process of the center and how it is going to be focused on young people's skills development and enterprise services for young people. 5 lessons for building future cities with adolescents. So we are talking about building future cities. What are the lessons we have learned? Listen, create representative adolescent structures, institutionalize, connect participation to formal city governance, generate evidence, enable adolescents to access and document their own lived experiences. Let us not tell our own story of how we think young people should do. Let us give them the space to generate their own evidence and lead in terms of assessing their own needs and responsibilities. Connect opportunities, link skills to livelihood and economic pathways. Once you are providing the skills, let's also learn to link the skills to livelihood, because the skills alone is not enough. Learn and adopt, test, document, exchange, and scale what works. One of the best lessons that we want to share with you is the ability to document your change story in every intervention. We are telling you this story because there was a very institutionalized mechanism in documenting the changes that happened within the project phase. And we are telling a story of exactly what has happened. So in terms of building future cities, we must be able to test, document, exchange, and scale what works, so that we are sure of what we are doing and not just be doing anything because we think it works for us. Learn and adopt, I've talked about. So the question for every city represented here is not can we copy Sunyane, but which mechanism can we adopt to our own city system? Especially our planning officers are here, our MCs and coordinating directors are here. What works in Sunyane may not work in Koforidua. So what we need to look at is the context issues. Which mechanism can we adopt to our city systems so that we can be able to place young people at the heart of our services? The evidence now belongs to them. Every number here turns back to the adolescent who was in the room. So we just did a brief survey and we realized that 78, we engaged 78 of young people within the city, 82 participation in our consultation across all the 19 constituencies on key priority areas. The Sunyani Adolescents Manifesto translates lived experience into a collective agenda for the city. It is theirs to hand over and the assemblies to answer. So the manifesto will be launched by a speaker today, and it's one of the documents that are going in terms of sustainability, promoting sustainability, and also engaging the local assembly. So this is the end of our journey from voice to evidence, influence to institution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edward. Please, is anyone having questions? It's time for questions and answers.
Thank you very much. I must commend you for a good job done. Mine is few comments and then a question. I think these days, in recent times, one of the key things about young people's meaningful participation has to do with the institutionalization of young people in key decision-making process. Now, I realize the synergies being built with the state institutions, which is very great. That's a plus. And I think it's something I have learned, connecting the National Youth Authority, which oversees youth activities, is great. And how the role of young people in the municipal assembly enclave in terms of gender, sanitation, there was another one, health. Now, the one I want to add is the tech aspect. The reason why I'm saying tech aspect is because in recent times, safeguarding issues on internet is becoming very critical. We have more young people accessing the internet. And so if you could bring the tech aspect into the conversation, where you notice the peculiar issues happening around the internet in terms of young people's participation, because there's a lot of violence going on there on the internet, and there's critical safeguarding issues. So if you can bring those dynamics into the conversation, and maybe within the parliament, some of the ongoing discussions, look at the issues that young people face on the internet and how you can mitigate those effects. I think it would be a way to deal with drug abuse, teenage pregnancy, because sometimes the conversation starts from the internet and the practicality of that conversation come into the physical domain. So if you can critically look at that, it will really help, and you should get a lot of information and impact within the tech space. Secondly, let me for the active role of young people, especially being in this engagement today. That's a plus, and documenting the stories, documenting their experiences. The bit I also issues within the informal sector that our young people face. So I look at the mock parliament, all the things happening, but what are some of the issues within our informal sector? Though you mentioned that there was a community where we have a lot of young people maybe into drugs and are trying to reform, but it's not working. But I think bringing it back into parliament and then channeling it through the municipal assembly, I know there are other measures in terms of peace and security. Young people play a critical role there. So if you can channel it through that, and then of course, Ghana is currently developing the National Action Plan on Peace and Security. So I don't know if the Municipal Assembly, there is a way we can channel the challenges, some of these challenges, into the information, and if they can get it back to the National Youth Authority, because the National Youth Authority is the one in charge of creating the National Action Plan for Youth Peace and Security. So if you can champion that agenda, I think the issue within the drug abuse will be curtailed. Thank you very much.
Okay. My name is John. I think I love this presentation. I think I'm very familiar with the Sunyani young people and the stuff they've been doing for some time now. I think it's been 2-3 years since I've known them. I just want to add to what my sister just said, talking about incorporation of tech. First of all, our stakeholders here, I believe you've all given devices or tablets or phones to your teenage children. So basically, that is where the young people live today. And what is over there is what shapes their outcome. I also want to ask you, with your platforms on social media, how many following do you have? Stakeholders, how many followings do you have with your assemblies, where there is transparency of information and activities? I don't think it is that huge. Now, this is what I want to suggest. In order for young people to be drawn into what you're doing and change the narrative that your young people want to see within the stakeholders and then the community at large, I would suggest that you focus on growing your platforms, being more transparent. because someone would have to rather go and look for you to see you. But if you look at a lot of global entities or even some national entities, or while you are scrolling to your, and then they will pop up. And then they will pop up. It's because they are paying for what they call boosting. So if you have a dedicated maybe $10 a week, or maybe $20 a week, you can do a community boosting. So every now and then, if you have activities, if you have a profile, something story, it will just be popping up YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, so that people would see something going on in your communities and want to be a part of it, and can also influence the young people to see that, hey, my uncle, hey, baby, so I can equally be a part of it. And I bet you it will change a lot of things. So that is for now, that is what I want to add to what my sister said. Thank you very much.
All right, Edmond from the National Youth Authority. I think she has actually said most of the things I wanted to say. I nearly wanted to ask her if she works with us. But then I wish to just add one more stakeholders I think you should engage, because I saw the business support thing. You know the GIE, yes, they have the business advisory centers. And I think when you engage them, you get a free space where you can do that. All right, thank you.
Oh, now, National Youth Authority. You've taken exactly what I had in mind to say. That's what you have said. So it was in relation to the sustainability bit of the business advisory that you wanted to set up. So I wanted to draw attention to the fact that GE has business advisory centers across all the districts, just to avoid the duplication of efforts, and then us being able to channel our resources into one and then come up with more a more efficient intervention. So that is it, and our can. Right. So far the presentation is good. The project, the documenting part is very, very good and interesting. At least that tells the people's story behind. You are not just making noise. You are able to see people through the journey of transformation, which is very, very good.
All right. Okay. I want to thank you very much for the presentation. Kudos for the good work that you are doing. I'm just sitting here and then I'm asking myself, now if you talk about the future, AI is the future. And I was asking me all the things that you are doing, what's the role of AI? And so, and the AI, you know, with the adolescents, we want to ensure ethical and responsible use of AI. So I want to encourage you that in all this, find a way to get them to appreciate AI and use it in a very responsible way, more especially ethically. So that's for now what I want to chip in. Thank you very much.
Prof, I have a question for you. I have a question for you, and I think largely the role of AI. I've seen that you come from academia, and most of the institutions do not encourage the use of AI by students, especially when it comes to their assignments, their project work, and other stuff that has to do with the use of AI. How do we change the narrative around that for the institutions, especially academic institutions as well?
To be honest, I'm very surprised to hear that you are saying the academia, we don't want to. My colleague from Legon, you are here, right? That is absolutely not true. If you come to KNUST, we've actually established a whole unit to look at responsible use of AI. So that is where we are. Trust me, if you bring your work to me and you just rely on AI, it doesn't matter how you use it. If your ideas are not reflecting in what you have obtained from AI, I will know straight away. I pick it and it's there, very clear. So what we are saying is that use AI, but localize it, make it your own. That is, you understand? So we are not saying don't use AI, but personalize it, make it your own. And that is where we are now. Because whether you like it or not, there's nothing you can do. So, to be honest, just about 2 or 3 weeks at K University, we've been running AI seminars, trying to even get faculty how to use AI responsibly. So, students, don't worry. We want you to use it, but use it responsibly. Make it your own. Personalize it. You understand? Because when you go, there are all sorts of stuff. And the funny thing is, you see, when you type in, it will give you whatever you want. But trust me, if you bring it to me, I will know you have not added anything. So get it, personalize it, make it your own, use it to reflect whatever I want the assignment I've given, that has been given to you. Don't just put your assignment in, and then, once you do that, you'll be found out. So we are talking about ethical and responsible use of AI. Localize it and personalize it, make it your own. And I think we are ready to go. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I fully support my colleagues' views about the AI, the ethical use and all that, and also the role of AI in the things that you're doing. Currently, in other jurisdictions, AI is part of planning and development. So we should guide these young ones as to approaches in using AI, in terms of sourcing information and how to get things done. My second or main point has to do with, from your presentation, I saw that the young ones were taken through decision-making process and all that. But I think we need to go a second step. How do we get these young ones to get their hands dirty, in terms of the real implementation? So we also have to move them around in terms of development issues. So if a municipality is building a school, we take them there. Let these ones talk to the architects, talk to the engineers, talk to all the stakeholders who are involved so that they can, appreciate the process. So that when they get there and become planners themselves, right from the word go, they know what to do. So that is key. The second point has to do with trying to entrepreneurial aspect. Whether we like it or not, government cannot provide us the jobs that we need. So we need to promote entrepreneurship. So one of the things that we have to get these young ones, is to also help them with incubators, where when they've acquired the necessary knowledge, in terms of becoming entrepreneurs, we also box them out somewhere in some incubators where they also get the necessary inputs from different stakeholders. What is about, how do they go about bookkeeping? How do they go about, engaging bankers? How do they go about developing proposals for projects and so on and so forth? So incubators has to be part of this process. So it's like a lifelong learning. Even though we are guiding them at this age, it's towards the future. Because the next 10, 15, 20 years, they'll be sitting in our offices. So we need to prepare them towards this journey. Thank you very much.
All right, so thank you very much for that. When it comes to the incubation, as you said, under the our entrepreneurship and digital innovation hub, which is a multi-purpose center that we are looking at, we'll have business incubation for young people, where we'll assist them to develop their business ideas into a full-fledged business proposals and how to start their small-scale businesses, and also connect them with entrepreneurs who are already making it, for them to learn from them, mentorship, and then coaching. So it's part of the process that we are on. When it comes to AI, Doc, I think we need to have conversation with both the universities and see how we can collaborate and start AI and literacy program for young people across the country. And that will be very wide. Because we want to use our Digital Innovation Hub Center as a starting point to pilot it and see how we can generate that and work towards that, ensure that young people also have more connection when it comes to AI, how they can use it responsibly. Yes. And then we talk about Ghana Enterprise Agency. In fact, it's very difficult working with public institutions in this country. Very, very difficult. Let's be fact about it. You know, under this project, we have two partners. We have primary partners and the secondary partners. And one of the secondary partners is Ghana Enterprise Agency. During the information stage of this project, we did MOU, and then we engaged all the secondary partners, Sunyani Municipal Assembly, Catholic University, Kofi Annan India ICT Center of Excellence, Sunyani West Municipal Assembly, Ghana Youth Authority, Ghana Health Service, and then Ghana Education Service. They are the secondary partners. And we work with them even in the co-creation of the project proposal. And all the secondary partners has their role and responsibility. And the responsibility of the Ghana Enterprise Agency was to train our young people under the entrepreneurship pillar. So if you look at the back there, you see the fashion designers, they have prepared those things that we are seeing, the soap and another things. But what happened? During the full implementation of the project, we went to Ghana Enterprise Agency several times. Several. So even that aspect of the project delayed. So finally, we decided to work it out with individual people to train our young people in the vocational skills that we have. We started with them. They were part of the steering committee. Everything we are doing, they were involved. But the challenge was that everything you go there, they said, we need to get approval from Accra. We need to get approval from the head office. We have been doing that, so at a point, we have to cut them off the process. So that's what happened. So it's not that we are not aware of the Ghana Enterprise Agency. We are aware. And even we know that MasterCard Foundation is having a project with them. And they even told us that these opportunities are available. But for them to make themselves available for us to work together, that is the big challenge. So if National Youth Authority, maybe we can work together from Accra. If you are closer to them, then we take it from them. But at the regional level, everything they will tell you that we need to get up. Even for the training, the manual that they have to develop, and up to now, Ghana Enterprise. From day one, they were part of the project. Thank you, Mr. Kofi.
Today I'm a happy man. I'm very happy with all the discussions that are going on. I hear where they are coming from, and I have a fair idea of where they are coming from. And I also know the issues with our institution because of my opportunity working with some of the institutions. And I think we don't need to point fingers at anybody at this particular moment, but we need to give them another opportunity. Ralph, I think we need to give them another opportunity and still go ahead and still engage them, irrespective of whatever it is or however it seems to be turning out, because there is still a way for them, and I believe strongly that DA will be very much interested in working on this. I know you've gone very far with the districts when it comes to the business center, with the assemblies when it comes to the business center and where you want to get to. Let's still go back to GA and try and enroll them into the whole process, because even if we give it to the assembly will still need to rely on funding that is coming from GA. So we still have to get them in. So let us not point fingers at this point. I mean, I'm very happy that these discussions are going on, and that is the essence of us having such a discussion, and that's why we decided to have it at a national level. And it's good we have representatives from the national level here too as well, because then that also gives us an opportunity to connect those at the national level and see how we can connect from the national level to the regional level and still work with them. There's always a way. Okay. Exactly. Exactly.
You may end up doing something without a full authorization, and then you find yourself in trouble. So now that you are here, their office is just on, I think, adjacent Kempinski. Yeah. Yes, yes. So you can pass by, establish a link, and then, because when you have them on board, it really helps. And then it avoids, when we are reporting on national interventions, it is easy to know that, oh, these are the numbers, the actual numbers we are reporting, so that it avoids the situation like everybody is working in silos. Yes.
So I think we'll link with National Youth Authority.
So with G, I didn't know whether you contacted assemblies, or I would have given you the gist. They are highly, highly centralized. I quite remember 2018, we had a project with Plan Ghana, and they wanted to do something on livelihood for us in the communities. In fact, our facilitator is GE in the local level. We should start to enroll them. We had a letter from their regional and national contacts that we can't use. We can't use them. Meanwhile, he wrote a letter to me, coordinating at NMC, that we should give them office. We should give them this. The same public institution, but you are saying that we cannot use your people to do that. So the best way you can do is get your proposal, go to Accra, interact with them before you descend. Those at the local level, they cannot. It is highly centralized. So don't get them out of your project. Get persistency, because they have a lot of programs, very interesting ones. Because see, this is the adolescent that you are talking about. Most of them have this mentality that white collar job is the ultimate. And they complete school and they come and sit at home. And they are not interested in the skills. You see, so with your approach, where you started from to this level, it means you have done very well. So if you want to empower the youth these days, it is a way you can tune your minds, and that is from GE. So don't give up. We just want to urge you. Go to Accra and engage them.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
Yes,
Love.
I want to add a practical point. Using me as an example, I'm a beneficiary of GEA under the Business Advisory Center.
Okay.
Now, the MasterCard program, the Business in the Box,
Yeah.
I was a beneficiary. After that, I am allowed to register my products via FDA and the Ghana Standards Authority. Now, what the Business Advisory Center does for you is that you submit the documents, they give you that leveraging platform to engage these two bodies. So you register. So in terms of resource governance and management, the organization can retain that money and partner with GEA under the Business Advisory Center. Then you leverage on the money you would have used to take these young people to go and register their business. Use the Business Advisory Center to get their products certified, their businesses registered. And more men are utilizing the opportunity. It's for women. They register. What they do is that the young ladies and women, they give them more leverage to register their products free. So more men are using their wives, their sisters to register business, and they go and certify their products, and it's working for them. So that should be a great leveraging point, especially for our female MPCF who maybe they're into businesses or want to go into businesses. That would be a great leveraging point. So don't take GA out of the conversation. You can also route it through the municipal assembly. So for example, Home Municipal Assembly, the Business Advisory Center is within the assembly's premises. So if me, I want to engage, I just walk directly into the office and they know me very well. So I set my conversation because I know if I want to go to national, it will be a whole administrative process altogether. But once you have that relationship with those at the local level, it also makes some of the things easier. So I would say that balance the equation, engage at the national level and also engage at the local level. Thank you.
Thank you. But Sunyani, do we have?
So you not clap for me.
Well, Sunyani, do we have business advisory center? We have. Oh, okay. Wenchi. Oh, okay. Okay, so that's good. That's good. Huh? Oh, okay. Okay, so I think we'll work it out and see how. We have one presentation before we go for lunch. So can we end the questions or yeah, okay. Okay, so here and here. Okay.
It's not a question. I think it's an approach to all of us. I think all of us here can become advocates. I think what Madam was here, I wanted to ask him for something which I just thought of if it's possible. So CSOs, basically we are all in the CSO.
Yes.
Right? Can we confidently say this that in as much as the assemblies are supposed to integrate the youth developmental projects in their activities, it is not solely upon them to be able to give the full support. However, it is something by the community and for the community. Can we do a crowdfunding whereby we get this crowdfunding endorsed by Parliament or by the government, so that if we are saying that, okay, maybe GCB becomes the recipient, maybe they will create a portal where you can voluntarily go and donate. You would be able to see for your profile what you've been able to contribute and what everybody has been able to contribute so far. And every quarter, we would set up some form of a competitive approach where you can go in for funding for a project of your desire or for a project within your community. And then you'll be able to get the funding maybe on a regional level or on a national level. Because I know a lot of institutions are doing this, but as to the consistency of it, that's the problem. I believe that for starters, we as young groups or young institutions, we can all be a part of a WhatsApp group where in a regional scale, every young group is in the regional, like leaders of all the groups becomes part of a regional, let's say Eastern region, and then the other regions. And then we'll take leaders and put them onto one particular platform where every issue or every area of focus is developed. And we can submit it to the institution, and then we'll see the kind of projects we can run for young people. I'm just asking, as we are all here, do you think it's a good idea or it's something that will take a lot of time before it can be implemented? Because I think time is fast spent. We have been rolling around with initiatives that we've seen for decades. And it is not the interest of young people because we are not diversifying. It is kind of repetitive. So if the funding is coming from communities, people who want to see their young people change things within their communities, I think we'll be doing ourselves a greater good. And institutions are there to also give guidance, give counseling, push them to the level that they want to be in. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much. I'll make mine brief. Mine is a small contribution or suggestion. It has to do with, you see, this project empowers adolescents in our communities. But I would like to suggest that we can have an award scheme in the municipality, which should be like when we applaud or give these awards to those who are doing better things to help their as adolescents, to help their communities. It will no longer be healthy cities empowering adolescents. It will be adolescents empowering adolescents, so that they can look up to them for more inspiration whenever they need support. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Good one. So, Sunyani Municipal Assembly, we can sit together as Sunyani West and come out with an award scheme for young people within Sunyani. And that would be great. Yeah. Okay, so we have a short video. Now, this video or documentary is on the implementation of the World Bank support project in Ghana called the Secondary City Support Project, and it's being implemented in some municipalities across the country. So we have done a documentary, and the question is, how well do we involve young people when it comes to the implementation of the secondary city projects across the country, and how are we changing the narrative when it comes to young people participation in decision making at the city level. So we are going to show the documentary. After that, we'll go for lunch. When we come back, we are going to have a panel discussion, and then we'll discuss the issues, and then we look at the way forward. Then after that, we'll have the PALOMA declaration. What are we taking away? The commitment that we have to make today. So,
Ghana's secondary cities are growing rapidly. They are becoming centers of trade, education, innovation, and opportunities. Through the World Bank-funded Secondary Cities Support Program, major investments have been made in roads, drainage systems, urban markets, transport infrastructure, and public spaces. But beyond the concrete and asphalt lies a deeper question. What kind of cities are we building for the next generation?
My name is Vincent Mpieje, the Municipal Chief Executive for Sunyani Municipal Assembly. So, for Sunyani Municipality, we have a number of these Ghana Secondary City Support projects that are currently ongoing. So, let me start from the Central Market, a place we call Masomasom. We had a link or a road from that Masomasom enclave within the Sunyani Central Market to Cha Station. So currently we have paved all that stretch of that road, and it forms part of the Ghana Secondary City Support projects. I keep on saying that I'm a young person, so I prefer relating more with the youth and making sure that at least any critical decision at all that we take, we try to incorporate them. So currently, as I speak, when you come to Sunyani Municipality here, we have an adolescent parliament that is in place. I've personally witnessed about 2 or 3 of such parliamentary sittings, and I must say I really enjoyed that parliamentary sitting and how debates were being made and how issues were even championed, challenges that we are facing as a municipality and the way forward for us. That is about one thing.
Down, add up that. The 21 years is more enough to complete that building. I'm 21, that means I am the building, we are on the same age.
Mr. Speaker, there is a saying. You say, Obani who now swap. Yeah, papa, me will be but you're born of papa, yeah. What if you are also born, yeah.
And the other thing being that when you come to the assembly, as in Sunyani Municipal Assembly, we have about 8 standing committees, the 5 statutory and the 3 optional ones that we have created. And I'm glad to say that almost all the committees, we have members of the Adolescent Parliament, 7 on those committees. So it's a learning stage for them. I remember doing one of the parliamentary sessions of the Adolescent Parliament, one of our members, young as I may call it, raised an issue with infrastructure with African Phase 2 at Yayima. Immediately, I informed my planning officer, my coordinating director, the engineer, that we must do something about it. And I'm proud to say that currently when you go to Yaima African Phase 2, we have a 3-unit classroom block, we have a laboratory, we have staff common room, headmaster's office, and store within all the classrooms that will impact the lives of our students there. So I must say that we are not just listening to what they keep on saying or the debates that we all witness during the adolescent parliament session, but we actually make action.
After months of raising my voice in support of the chiefs and the good people of Yahima community, city authorities led by the mayor and the member of parliament have taken steps in building them a 3-unit classroom block for the deprived school. I felt much proud of myself when the mayor invited me to witness the sword cutting of the Yahima African Faith Basic School.
I'm also glad to say that the Sunya Municipal Assembly, together with our group, has been able to launch this youth manifesto. And I'm happy to state that it will be launched during the particular program in Accra. And I must say that this is just a stepping stone. A manifesto will guide us going forward, how we should navigate, how we should carry our youth along, how we should engage them or continue to involve them in our decision making. So I'm happy and proud and humbled at the same time to have been part of the manifesto building and coming out with such a document to guide us all towards the development and involvement of our youth going forward in all our activities. Yes, for the impact, I would say that it is very, very, very immense or great. For example, looking at the Magazine Road, whenever it rains, the place becomes a no-go area, very, very unbearable for the people within the Magazine Enclave, the Regional Fire Command, and any other person who uses that particular road. But currently, as I said, even with the work that has been done, and even the few works that will be done within the very few weeks to see to the completion of the project, you can clearly see that we have been able to eliminate that particular challenge.
The Secondary City Support Program was designed to improve urban infrastructure and strengthen local governance. These projects have brought visible improvements, reduced flooding, easier movement, safer roads, and better access to economic opportunities.
My name is Iris Dalaba, Minister Development Planning Officer for Nigabasa, and I am a project coordinator to the Ghana Secondary City Support Program. The projects are being selected by the communities. We come out with our medium-term development plans. However, we pick projects that are targeted towards the urban centers. So when we started the project in 2019, we engaged and realized that flooding was our major issue in the municipality.
My name is Gideon Awad, the Municipal Planning Officer of Brokum East Municipal Assembly. Before the commencement of the program, we had a series of stakeholder engagements and focused group discussions where we met the disability groups, the youth support groups in the municipality. We also met the traders. And a lot of issues came up. Issues that centered on unemployment, safety and security. And all these issues affected the women, the vulnerable groups in the municipality.
Yes, infrastructure can transform a city, but the infrastructure alone does not guarantee inclusion, safety, or quality of life. Public spaces are where city life happens. They are places for recreation, learning, culture, and social connection. Yet, in many secondary cities, accessible and well-maintained public spaces remain limited, especially for adolescents, girls, and persons with disabilities. Many public infrastructure designs are not friendly to young people and most especially persons with disabilities. However, some secondary cities are on course to changing the narratives.
Persons with disability.
Sometimes we want a safe place to meet, read and relax after school, but there are not many places designed for young people in our cities.
The quality of public spaces is not measured only by appearance. It is measured by who feels welcome, who can access it, and who can use it safely. Across Ghana, young people are increasingly engaging in conversations about the future of their cities. They are identifying unsafe intersections, inadequate lighting, poor sanitation, limited recreational facilities, and barriers to participation.
We are the ones who will live in these cities in the future. Our ideas should be included when decisions are made about roads, parks, schools, and transports.
Young people understand the challenges in their neighborhood. If assemblies create regular platform for engagement, we can contribute a practical solution.
Participation is not a symbolic gesture. It is a resource for better planning and more responsive governance. Strong cities are built not only through investment, but through trust between citizens and local authorities. When residents have access to information and opportunities to engage, they can help monitor projects, report challenges, and shape priorities.
I am Ransford Osubachi, the Municipal Chief Executive for New Driving South. And I would want to say Secondary Cities program has been very helpful to our community. In fact, I wasn't around at the time they started this, but from all indications, it has been a very, we've had a lot of projects coming out of this Secondary Cities program. As I speak, we have the Jackson Park. Earlier, it was there, but it wasn't like what we see now. We've improved on the facilities, and if you even go there, I'm sure you'll be visiting the place. When you get there, if you look at the event center, it's disability friendly, and we also have, we benefited from some roads like the Nyamikom, Penkwan, and Abogri roads. They are all from the Secondary Cities program. And then we just even commissioned the Zongo market, which are all part of the Secondary Cities facility. And by next week, even those with the shares, the market women with the shares are already there. Hopefully by next week, we are handing over the keys to various shops there for the beneficiaries to also start to operate. In fact, earlier we had issues with flooding and other things, but with the Secondary Cities coming in, we did a lot of dredging in town, and for now, we don't experience floods most of the time as it used to be. Let me use this opportunity to thank them. In fact, this program, I wish would continue.
The projects are being selected by the communities. We come out with our medium-term development plans. However, we pick projects that are targeted towards the urban centers. Before we started the construction, we actually engaged. So we engaged first and foremost the traditional authority. We did a lot of engagement with them.
My name is Samuel Kofi Adagbozo, a municipal planning officer of the Sunyani Municipal Assembly. When the Ghana Secondary City were introduced in the municipality, we got, it's a collaboration between the World Bank and the government of Ghana. We had some money to implement some of the projects. Sunyani was one of the beneficiaries. We did community engagement to solicit the views of the people. So based on that, we gave the adolescent, including the adolescent, were also engaged alongside with the adult. We prioritize the needs of the community. So we realized that Sunyani was having a serious problem in terms of infrastructure development. About 100-meter paving works has been completed for the market women.
Na abai waya de pa abese ya kwa no na nya kura wona niema nipa ni plant ma kwa na beta de so abana ya ma kwa na kama
pa cha ya fe me ma ya me so me to abanchi wo maso le mu na kura enka ne ya hanya kura ka se enso ne nya me aba roma ni asabli ada roma eni ya MP so na me show mu na akwa ma ya ne kama.
And two, the street light has gotten an impact. Last time we did some impact assessment with the people about this lighting system. They were very happy that, in fact, they can now sell in the night. They can sell their food stuff, provisions, and all stores can be open during the night.
People want to be comforted before projects begin. Not only they are completed, that is how ownership is created.
Accountability is most effective when it is continuous, transparent, and inclusive of women, youth, and marginalized groups.
Through this, we were able to create a platform for the adolescent, which we assembly can fully engage all the adolescents. As I'm talking now, we have engaged the adolescent in development planning subcommittees, social service committee, environmental subcommittee, gender and child protection committee, and works development subcommittee. And because of this, it has improved the children's capability in terms of they can speak and make a decision on their own. And I know that if we continue to do this, the children will be more vocal in the area of decision making.
Reimagining Ghana's secondary cities means thinking beyond infrastructure delivery. It means designing cities that are safe for children and adolescents, accessible to persons with disabilities, inclusive of women and marginalized groups, environmentally resilient, connected through public spaces, governed with active citizen participation.
I want a city where young girls can move freely and feel safe.
I want more parks, sports facilities, and libraries.
I want leaders to listen to young people when planning the city.
These are not unrealistic dreams. They are the building blocks of healthy, inclusive, and resilient cities. The roads we build today will shape movement for decades. The public spaces we create will shape community life. The decisions we make about inclusion and participation will shape whether young people feel they belong in the cities they call home. Ghana's secondary cities are still being written. The question is not whether they will grow. The question is how they will grow, and whose voice will guide that future. As this documentary premieres, we invite city authorities, planners, development partners, civil society, and citizens to reflect together. What must we do differently to build cities that truly for everyone, especially adolescents and young people? Because The future of our cities should not be imagined for the young people. It should be imagined with them.
I'm Sai Ocho Blessing, a member of Parliament for OWC, representing Ghana. I am not a mayor, but if I were to be a mayor, I would reduce the alarming rate of teenage pregnancy in Sunyani.
If I were to be the mayor of New Jersey South Municipal Assembly, I'll give the young people the opportunity to air their views, especially people living with disability and the young people within our community.
If I were a mayor, I'd help reduce the abuse of drugs in Sunyani.
We are not mayors or decision makers for our city, but we would like to make a change, making basic education compulsory for all adolescents.
If I were to be the mayor for one day for the municipality, my focus will be to create a framework that gives the youth opportunity to have more access to work, network themselves with other youth in other municipalities.
If I were a mayor, I will help minimize littering around in Sunyani.
If we were mayors, we would build healthy cities for everyone.
And we have solutions to share.
I am not a mayor, but if I were to be a mayor, I would create a safe space where we could discuss about mental health issues without stigmatization and shame.
It is time to listen.
Our city, our say.
Okay. Chamia would master cousin and our summa. We all have heard our young people. So if somebody has,
we want them to participate. And then we've added that we should bring them on board when it comes to implementation and what have you. Listening to the documentary, almost all the people in authority who mention that they are involving the youth, they always add so that they can build their capacity, they can improve on themselves. Not once did I hear that they are saying we are learning from the youth. Trust me, the youth, they have a lot to give. So please, if we bring them on board, we shouldn't have that mentality or perception that we are helping them. We should also look at it from the point of view that they are helping us. Because the future is theirs. For us, we are already in our future. So we should rather listen to them, get them involved, decision-making, implementation, and what have you. And we shouldn't take it that we are helping building their capacity and what have you. We should take it that they are helping us to improve our society. Thank you very much.
Any comment?
Thank you. I'd like to add that we need to democratize what these young ones are doing. So just as you find cadet corps in almost every second cycle institution, we should have sort of a club of this nature where these young ones will be doing these things. So it cuts across all schools. So, and then they would have inter-school engagement and all that. So with that, they get to know each other and then build a social capital out of this. I'd like to say that I am a veteran basketball player. I've been playing for the last 40 years. And I've built a social capital out of this within the last 40 years. So I connect with, and there are people in the north, in Kumasi, Greater Accra, you know, we are connected. As of just a while ago, somebody had sent me a message, you know, needing some help for his niece or something. And this is somebody I've known through basketball, and I've known him for the past 30 years. So it is through this kind of activities that they grow in. So one would be in the north somewhere working as a planner or engineer somewhere, and we'll call somebody in Accra. How do I deal with this situation? So we need to really democratize this right from now, that they build the social capital. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. I'm very much excited when it comes to activities of young people. So, like my boss mentioned from the University of Lagos on the school club. You know, Young and Safe is a sister project to this, and one thing we are championing is the creation of the school clubs and the school boot camps, which is really helping. More young people are finding their potentials in these spaces because it serves as a safe place for them to innovate, to share their ideas, to bring their ideas to practicality. So I think aside Parliament, one thing an idea you can also champion is bringing these young people into clubs, like school clubs. So aside the school club, for Young and Safe like this, we are championing something for the out of school. Those who are not within the formal institution. We are creating clubs for them and boot camps for them. And you see that belongingness and that room to express themselves and to also bring out the ideas. So when we put all this together, it gives us that balanced view of how young people want to lead. So I think a plus like should I say Prof? Can I call you Prof? Yes. Prof said is creating this school clubs or maybe boot camps for young people to keep learning and sharing with each other, developing each other. And so after some time, you realize that even when the project is no longer in place, because you have the school club system, it keeps running, and it's a cycle where other young people come and benefit, will leave, other groups will also come in. And at the end of the day, that's a long-term impact for the organization. Thank you. Please clap for me again.
Thank you very much. Any other further comments? No, okay. So that's really true. So for the adolescent parliament, we want it to be replicated in other in schools. So for example, Edmond, the senior clerk for Sunyani Adolescent Parliament, has started one in his senior high school. That is Sacred Heart Senior High School at Inchiatre. So we went there and do the inauguration. So now they have started from Sacred Heart. And Brekum Secondary School wanted to do same. And then Sunyani Notre Dame girls also want, they have established, yes. So we have started it in secondary school, and we want to replicate it in all the secondary schools. And so we are trying to do. And one thing we also want to do is to establish what you call adolescent city shapers movement or council, city shapers. So we establish that movement that belong to adolescents in all our major cities in Ghana. And we are starting, and you know, we need more funding. Mr. Profu is here, Ecoris is here, Botna Foundation. So we are trying to see how do we go about that. Apart from Profi, I think National Youth Authorities is also here. We can also collaborate and see how we'll be able to establish the Adolescent City Shapers Council. And so that in every district or municipality, we will have these Adolescent City Shapers Council within the assembly. And they will be always taking part in decision making within the assembly. And it's a process we are discussing, and we think that we will be able to do that. But we need more support and funds. So as somebody said, crowdfunding will be one of the major steps that we can take to do so. And we'll see how best we'll be able to do that. So thank you very much for this time. Okay, I see a lunch in Nyanya ready. So let's finish the launching of the Adolescent Manifesto by the Speaker of the Sunyani Adolescent Parliament, Honorable Sarkodie.
Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Good afternoon to you all. It seems the place is bored. It's boring. Okay, so if you are happy to be here, let me hear you shout, yeah, yeah. Parliamentarians, you are quiet. Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. So I'm in the person of Sarko Jeffrey Daniel, the Speaker for the Adolescent Youth Parliament in Sunyani. And this afternoon, I have the honor of doing something that has never, when I say never, it has never ever been done in Sunyani City. And I am going to do it today. I am here to launch the Sunyani Adolescent City Manifesto, the first document of this kind written by we, the adolescents of our city. We are adolescents from all 19 constituencies of Sunyani Municipality and Sunyani West Municipality. Apprentices, young entrepreneurs, emerging leaders. We are not adults' idea of what adolescents want. We are adolescents telling you ourselves. So most of the time, people will think whatever that will be said by we the adolescents is what has been kept in our mouth to say. And here is the truth, it isn't that way. We think about what we want and we all agree on it, then voice it out. The manifesto was not written behind a desk. It was built from the ground up. 82 of us came together in one room, but we did not come as 82 individuals. We came as representatives, drawn deliberately from every one of our 19 constituencies. Carrying with us the voices of adolescents across Sunyani Municipality and Sunyani West Municipality, who could not be in that room. We went through 8 priority themes that shape our daily lives: health, safety, participation, education, livelihoods, protection, environment, and digital access. We did not just name problems, we scored them for importance, urgency, and feasibility. We proposed solutions and we voted together on what matters most on our behalf of every adolescent in every constituency which was being represented. Everything in the document can be traced back to an adolescent's own voice, as we had our documentary being shown. And also everything that is what makes it different from every report written about us instead of by us. Let me be honest with you. What's the evidence told us? Evidence that speak for adolescents across all 19 constituencies, not only for those of us in this room. When we asked adolescents to name their single biggest concern, education and skills came first, health second, digital access third. But when we asked about our daily life, a different picture emerged. 55% of us rarely or never feel safe after dark. Why? Because of the lack of street lights in our constituencies. 56% of us have no safe adolescent spaces in our own community. 78% have no current source of income. Only 8% of us believe our views are always taken seriously by the assembly or community leaders, even including our own parents in our homes. These numbers are our best evidence of what adolescents across the whole of Sunyani and Sunyani West are living through right now, in every part of our city. Both pictures of what we name and what we live are true at the same time. That gap is exactly why this manifesto had not to be built on evidence and not guesswork. We do not present this manifesto as a list of complaints. We present it as a vision. By 2035, we want Sunyani to be healthy, safe, clean, green, digitally concerned, connected, and economically vibrant. A city where every adolescent can learn, develop, participate, and thrive. A city, in the words of one of us, that will be the first in including young people in decision making. With our 8 priorities in brief, this manifesto carries 8 priorities: our health, confidential adolescent-friendly health and mental health services. Secondly, is our safety, safe streets, lighting, and public spaces, day and after dark. Our voices, institutionalized adolescent participation through the Adolescent Parliament. Fourth is our education, functioning libraries, digital skills, and real career pathways. Our livelihoods, mentorship, and skills training alongside access to capital. Also, our protection, accessibility, reporting system, and genuine inclusion. Again, our environment, reliable waste management, drainage, and more trees. Our digital futures, affordable internet and ICT access in every constituency. Another thing is our call. You might ask, what is our call to action? To our city leaders, you listen to us. To our institutions, you work with us. To our communities, protect us. To our development partners, invest with us, not only for us. To our fellow adolescents, participate, lead, and take responsibility. Because we are not only asking others to act, we accept our own responsibility too. Monthly constituency cleanups, showing up at assembly engagements, bringing our constituency priorities into every adolescent parliament sitting, and following them through. We are not asking our adults to speak for us, because we, the adolescents, have the brain, we have the idea, we can make our decision, we can lead, and since we can lead, we should be involved in every decision making to create a better future, a better world for us. Why? Because we are the ones to lead, and if we adolescents are the ones to lead, we should be involved in every decision because it concerns us. We believe that a city that works for adolescents is a city that works better for everyone. We are ready to contribute to building that city. We are ready to lead. We are ready to participate. We are ready to build a better Sunyani and a better country. Again, my name is Sarko Jeffrey Daniel, the Speaker for the Adolescent Youth Parliament, and I say thank you all. So I would like to call all my adolescent parliamentarians to join me here to sign our Adolescent Manifesto. So as everything has been done, the manifesto has finally been launched. So I'll call the Sunyani Municipal Assembly representative to also come and join me to sign.
So signing up for on behalf of the Sunyani Municipal Assembly, the coordinating director.
Thank you very much. So now the representative from Sunyani West Municipal Assembly.
Municipal Coordinating Director, I'm signing on behalf of Sunyani West Municipal Assembly.
Thank you very much. Parliamentarians, you can now have your seats. One thing that I love the most about this is that giving information about the Adolescent Parliament, Resilient City for Adolescents, and also Global Media Foundation, explaining about things in my school. A lot of people were interested. Why? Because they got to know that adolescents can also get the opportunity to lead. So anytime when you come to my school, unfortunately, I'm not there anymore since I'm a graduate. St. James Seminary Senior High. Whenever you go there, you hear Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker. Why? Because I have also, through Global Media Foundation, given those adolescents who are present in the school the voice and also the confidence to speak in public. So I'll use this platform to thank Global Media Foundation, Resilient City for Adolescents, and also my fellow parliamentarians. Thank you very much for joining me here.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Daniel. So, we hereby launch this manifesto in the name of our country and the betterment of our city. At this juncture, we'll go for our lunch break, the same place we went for the snack break. So you walk majestically just to that place. Thank you.